I have
Oh,
a
you're
bunch of
planning to
questions.
move
It's time. It's time to, get some
to
fresh air. Like,
European feel city. I would recommend.
you need the accent. Yeah.
Yeah, Aussie sounds kind of odd. If you want to have a much cheaper lifestyle and a much more relaxed lifestyle, then just go to.
Unfortunately, crime does happen.
안녕하세요 여러분, 유미란입니다. 여러분, 벌써 2024년에 반이 지나가 버렸어요. 다들 올해 연초에 세웠던 계획들 잘 진행하고 계신가요? 저는 매년 계획에서 빠지지 않는 게 바로 영어 공부인데요. 사실 이건 핑계이긴 한데 제가 풀 재택근무를 시작한 이후로는 사람 간에 뭔가 상호작용이 없다 보니까 이 영어 회화 공부를 할 수 있는 기회가 생각보다 많이 없더라고요. 그래서 요즘 조금 영어 공부를 게을리하고 있긴 하지만 그래도 남은 하반기에는 조금 열심히 해보려고 합니다. 그리고 또 저는 이제 뉴질랜드에서 호주로 이민을 계획을 하고 있어서 그것 때문에 준비하느라 정말 정신없이 바쁘게 지내고 있어요. 저처럼 해외로 이민이나 아니면 유학, 워홀 또는 해외 취업을 준비하고 계시는 분들께서는 현지에 살고 있는 사람들의 그런 진짜 문화나 아니면 꿀팁들을 좀 배우고 싶을 때가 있는데 사실 현실에선 이런 기회를 찾기가 쉽지가 않은데요. 그래서 저는 이번에 호주 이민을 준비하면서 캠블리를 사용을 해봤어요. 캠블리에서는 영어 원어민과 함께 영어 회화 공부도 할 수 있고 원어민 튜터쌤들이 현지에서 살았거나 아니면 살고 계신 분들이 대다수이기 때문에 진짜 찐 현지인들의 꿀팁들까지 배울 수 있다는 점이 일석이조인 것 같더라고요. 화면에서 보시는 것처럼 원하는 지역의 악센트를 가진 튜터분들을 선택할 수가 있는데요. 저는 호주 악센트를 가진 튜터분들을 선택했어요. IELTS나 또는 다른 영어 시험을 준비하시는 분들은 그에 맞는 시험 카테고리 설정이 가능하고 해외 취업을 준비하고 계시다면 원하는 전문 분야에 대한 지식을 가진 튜터들도 선택을 할 수가 있어서 이 필터 기능을 잘 활용하시면 좋을 것 같아요. 언제 어디서나 원하는 시간과 장소에서 자유롭게 수업을 진행을 할 수가 있어서 저는 주로 주말 시간을 활용했답니다.
As
Miran.
Miran, excellent. And whereabouts are you?
I'm currently in New Zealand, but I'm from South Korea.
Okay. Oh, wow. So what are you doing in New Zealand?
I'm working in New Zealand, but I'm actually working for an Australian company, so I work remotely in New Zealand.
Oh my gosh.
I was originally planning to stay here for a year and then was going to go back to Korea. But I really like New Zealand, so I thought it would be good to try out a few more years. And then I ended up being here for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
a journey.
Yeah. So where in New Zealand do you live? In which city?
I'm in Auckland.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It's not the capital city, but it's the biggest city in New Zealand.
Auckland. I love Auckland. Auckland's beautiful.
Also, I'm super excited to chat with you today because as someone who is planning to move to Australia, I have a
you're
bunch of
planning to
questions.
move to
Actually,
Australia.
yes. I have a bunch of questions that I'd like to ask to learn about Australia. So I'm super excited about it.
Why are you leaving Auckland? Why are you leaving New Zealand?
I still love New Zealand. It's a beautiful country, lots of things to learn. But I thought why not? I want to experience new culture again because it's been 8 years. It's time. It's time to, get some fresh air, fresh culture and fresh people. So I thought it'd be good to move over there.
Absolutely. Oh no, that'd be great. So please go ahead. Ask whatever questions you like.
Yeah, where was my question actually? I was going to ask I'm curious if you had to recommend one city to live in Australia, which city would you recommend?
It really depends on what you're looking for in a city. And your lifestyle. So which is usually attached to your age group. So if you're looking for a vibrant European feel city that has a lot to offer, I would recommend Melbourne. It's where the art capital of Australia, fashion capital of Australia. We have amazing restaurants and cafes. We have a lot of clubs, different music scenes, a lot of festivals. It's a great city to live. And as I said, it's a very European city, so it's very different from Sydney. Sydney tends to be just a big city. Pace of life is probably a lot faster in Sydney than it is in Melbourne. Although Melbourne is quite busy as well. We still have traffic jams, we still have crowded public transport.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a more laid-back city, I would recommend Brisbane or Perth. Perth is very laid-back, exceptionally laid-back. In terms of nightlife, I don't think they would have a lot, but it's a very relaxed kind of lifestyle. But Brisbane is very popular at the moment. There's a lot of people moving to Brisbane, mainly because of the Olympic Games that will be there. But it will take a long while to catch up to Sydney or Melbourne. Yeah.
Okay. That's a tough question.
It is.
It's based on personal preference as to the lifestyle that you want. I think Sydney is more fast-paced, big city vibes, a lot of job opportunities, but it's probably the most stressful city by far in Australia because it's the most expensive. But if you're here for career growth, I think Sydney is probably the best option for career growth. It does have nice beaches as well, and it does have nice nature, like I guess Blue Mountains and all that sort of stuff if you like hiking. So it does have a mix of, I guess, everything. But I guess it is a more stressful lifestyle if you want to live in Sydney. Melbourne is kind of like a toned down version of Sydney. It's got better food. If you're a foodie, Melbourne is probably better for you. It's a lot colder than Sydney, I would say. And if you want to go like Brisbane, Gold Coast, that's more, it's a lot more warmer. It's a lot more beach vibe. If you like the whole beach vibe, sort of relaxed atmosphere, I think Brisbane and Gold Coast is probably a little bit better. If you want to have a much cheaper lifestyle and a much more relaxed lifestyle, then just go to the west side. Anywhere in the west side, or whatever. If you want to just chill, enjoy life, just go there. But if you want the city lifestyle, then I would probably say Sydney or Melbourne.
Also, could you teach me some like useful or common Australian slang?
We use the word mate a lot. Like, hey mate, how you going?
Do you actually use mate a lot? Like,
yeah, I would say that it's more of a male thing because I don't hear much females say hey mate. Male will say it all the time, like hey mate. If you're working and someone doesn't do much work, they're just kind of like lazy and they try to do as little as possible. They call it a bludger. To bludge is to avoid work or to do as little as you can to avoid doing things. So they call them a bludger. I don't know if you heard of the word, like we use it when we're trying to say very something, like exaggerated. Like it's called bloody, but it's it's bloody hot.
oh, bloody. I've heard bloody a lot when I watch like some news interviews, like people saying like, bloody hell, like blah blah blah.
Yes. Yeah, it's common. Brekkie is short for breakfast. Christmas, we'll just say Chrissy. Cigarettes, if you hear Siggy.
Interesting. You guys like adding E in the end?
Yeah, we do dumb stuff like that, but it makes sense to us. If you hear someone say chock-a-block, it's just so silly sometimes, man, but it works. If you hear chock-a-block, it means it's full.
Chock-a-block?
Yeah, it's like, oh man,
full?
it's chock-a-block. That means like it is full with people, like it is packed.
Chock-a-block. I don't think I've heard of it.
It usually talks about people. It's filled with people. Then you would use chock-a-block.
So it has to be people.
Correct.
Okay. It sounds quite aggressive. Chock-a-block.
No, it's not really aggressive. It's just like super bogan. It's just a very Aussie way of saying.
So those are all okay to use in like a casual conversation.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think you need to be too worried about offending anyone.
Especially chock-a-block. That's my favorite one for today.
I'm not gonna lie. It'll sound like chock-a-block. You need the accent.
You need the accent, yeah.
Yeah, or else it sounds kind of odd.
Okay. So would you be able to demonstrate it again? Chock-a-block.
Chock-a-block. Oh man, this is chock-a-block, man. This place is chock-a-block. That's how you have to say it. If you don't say it like that, it just doesn't suit you.
Yeah, it has to be paired with that accent.
Yeah, it's going to be paired with the Aussie bogan accent. Mostly, we still use proper English. So you'll be fine. You might not understand a couple of words, but I think if you listen to the full sentence, you'll be able to guess the context.
Oh, yes. Do you have any tips for newcomers moving to Australia? Like things to be prepared or like things to watch out for?
Well, I think the Australian culture or Western culture is a lot more casual than Korean culture.
For
So
sure.
I guess when you speak, you can feel free to speak very casually. No one will care. Probably need a car in Australia.
Right.
Regardless of where you stay, even if you're in the city, unless you are like right in the middle of the city, you work in the city, then you might not need a car. But if you live anywhere else in Sydney, you will need a car, or else your life will be severely inconvenient. It's not as compact and convenient as Seoul. You probably need to know how to drive. I don't know if you know how to drive, but you probably should learn if you want to come to Australia.
True. Like when I lived in Seoul, I didn't really need to have a driver license, but as soon as I moved to New Zealand, I was like, I need one. I need to get a driver license. Sometimes
Yes.
it's like train just cancel because it rains. So excuse
Yep.
me.
Yep.
So yeah.
Welcome to Australia. Yeah.
I usually tell people don't do things that you wouldn't do in your own city. Big cities are the same the world over. So, you know, I wouldn't be walking by myself down the street, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning on my own, and just be aware, unfortunately, crime does happen. You know, look confident, be aware of your surroundings when you're out, especially if you're on your own. So, you know, things like don't have AirPods, you know, too loud that you can't hear what's going on around you. I guess in terms of tips is just go out and explore, you know, and especially with English, don't be afraid to use your English. Australians are very patient. You know, we will ask you if we're not sure what you're saying. We will ask you. And the same also with tourists that come or people that are coming to study. If you're an international student, if you don't understand something, don't be afraid to say, look, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you repeat that, please? Yeah. Migrants to Australia through the ages, regardless of when they came to Australia or come to Australia, because we're so multicultural. My parents are Italian, so I grew up around Italians and migrants. So I know the difficulty in speaking. And generally, your culture, whatever it is, you know, your traditions, your language, people tend to stay in their little groups. So Italians with Italians, Greek with Greeks, you know, Koreans with Korean, because it's safe. You know, you don't have to stress too much about language. You know, your culture's the same, food is the same. Go out and, you know, speak to the cashier at the supermarket or, you know, the conductor on the bus or, you know, whoever. But
Yeah.
that's the only way you're going to improve your English.
True. I have to step out of my comfort zone to try
Yeah.
new things and learn the language. That's what I needed, and that's why I'm moving.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, they're all experiences that you wouldn't have had in Seoul. So,
Yeah, exactly. New things. Just learning new things every day. So it's been great, and I'm super excited about the new adventure.
yeah, and we're more than happy to have you come. Yeah.
제가 지난번에도 캠블리를 사용해보고 이번에 또 한 달 동안 사용해보면서 느꼈던 점 중에 정말 좋았던 점이 현지인들의 진짜 이야기를 직접 들을 수 있다는 점과 영어로 대화하면서 제가 궁금한 것도 물어보고 문화도 배우고 또 그 현지인의 진짜 악센트에 조금 더 익숙해질 수 있다는 점이 되게 좋았어요. 이런 기회를 사실 현실에서는 만들기가 쉽지 않은데 단지 클릭 몇 번으로 제가 원하는 시간과 장소에서 원하는 악센트를 가진 튜터분과 자유롭게 이야기도 하고 뭐 문화도 배우고 영어도 배우고 모든 걸 다 한 번에 할 수 있다는 점이 굉장히 매력적이었고 자동 녹화 기능으로 수업 내용을 다시 한번 보고 들을 수 있어서 복습이 언제든지 가능하고 웹사이트에 있는 커리큘럼이라든지 미니 수업, 퀴즈 등등 정말 다양한 자료들을 활용할 수 있다는 점들이 많이 도움이 되었어요. 지금 캠블리에 회원가입을 하시면 무료로 레벨 테스트도 받아보실 수 있다고 하는데요. 내 레벨에 맞는 맞춤 플랜도 추천해주고 있어서 활용하기 정말 좋을 것 같아요. 캠블리에서 오늘 7월 16일부터 31일까지 뉴미란 코드를 입력하시면 캠블리 플랜을 월 19,700원부터 이용하실 수 있다고 해요. 혹시 올해 영어 공부를 계획하고 계신 분들이 계시다면 정가 다 내지 마시고 이렇게 저렴하게 받아가실 수 있는 할인 기회 잘 잡으셔서 영어 공부도 하고 현지인들의 꿀팁들도 많이 얻어가실 수 있으면 좋을 것 같아요. 자세한 사항은 제가 더보기란에 남겨둘 테니까 참고해봐 주시면 좋을 것 같아요. 그럼 오늘 제가 준비한 영상은 여기까지고요. 오늘 영상도 이렇게 끝까지 봐주셔서 정말 감사하고 그럼 저는 다음 영상에서 또 만나 뵙도록 할게요. 그럼 안녕!